Happy Saturday and welcome back to the starting lineup with Kip Kiefer. I'm Tony Curry. When you're as good as we are, and we've had a lot of different guests we always talk about. You never know who's going to be in the studio with us. We got some rock and rollers coming in. We've had Leonard Skinner. I've been working on Pat Benatar to come in. I had Johnny Bench in the hook. He's going to be coming in during the World Series of this coming years. And of course, with all kinds of college football, we'll have some of the coaches and players and stuff like that. But we've also had some other great guests that I want you to mention because we're doing a little best of show here today.
Yeah, 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. I hope everybody's having a fantastic 4th of July weekend. We thought we would use this time to give you a couple of the opportunity to give you the chance to see some interviews you may have missed, and we hate that you missed them because they were outstanding. So Tony, today we're going to welcome in the replays of the interviews we had with Paul Finebaum, which was exceptional. Legend joined us here to question Paul and do a little role reversal. We also did a great interview with James Spann, the legendary weatherman who you introduced with a great, eloquent introduction. And I said, this guy needs no introduction. It's the most familiar face in the state. And also Tim Brando, who's had such a fantastic career. We're going to have all those interviews for you today in case you missed them, and we're really excited to bring them to you.
And James, not only a guy that knows every street name, but knows where every dead possum is on those street names.
It's unbelievable.
Just like take a left there by the old armadillo that got hit last Tuesday. It's just amazing. And we've been so blessed, obviously, to make our connections we've had. I've known Paul for a long period of time. I actually worked and competed against Paul for about 20 years when I was doing classic rock. He was over at the ERC doing news talk. And that's when we were on AM and FM as well, but got a chance to really bump heads with him for a long period of time until we actually worked together in the same radio station, the same roof. And then, of course, Tim Brando, another one of those guys were so accessible. And again, I call him up, and you'd swear, you know the guy's busy. I mean, he gets asked to do a million interviews, but he's always got time for the starting lineup. We greatly appreciate it. We'll certainly have him on numerous times during the football season. And then, of course, our good friend James Spann, who just speaks volumes, just came up from downstairs and stops in, and he can sit on the show anytime he wants here on ABC 3340.
Absolutely. Well, we of course feature the legend, the 4-time caller of the year on the Finebaum show. So Paul's always welcome as well. And he said he's got some contract negotiations going on with ESPN. We told him this seat right here is wide open for him if he wants to take that option.
It's going to cost you money, my friend.
We can pay pretty close to what he's getting now, can't we?
We could drop you something, yeah. You want a UAV helmet?
That's pretty sure.
We could give away some props. We could do that.
Absolutely. So we're really excited to bring you these replays of the interviews that we've had with 3 of our most prominent guests. We hope you enjoy watching the program today. And again, I hope everybody's having a wonderful 4th of July celebration with their families. America's 248th birthday.
Yeah, we like when the 4th falls like on a Thursday because then you can have a 4-day weekend.
Oh, man, it's awesome.
Everyone's taking Thursday and Friday off, so get after it, man. It would be better if it was on Wednesday. We could do a 5-day weekend, but get after it. And, of course, we'll continue to bring you live coverage every Saturday morning here on ABC 3340 of everything that is college football, which is going to be kicking off here in just a little over a month and a half. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic. It's our pleasure to have you here on the start. I have Tim Brando from Fox Sports. You mentioned 3 more years. I don't know what college football is going to look like in 3 more years when you turn 71. We were going to a 12-team playoff. Now it appears it's going to be a 14-team playoff. I think Greg Sankey said this. We're going through some seismic change right now. The tectonic plates of college football are moving so much, and as we speak, there are the Big Four right now having this discussion on trying to figure out what we're going to do with college football and have some type of revenue share. I think $4.2 billion it would cost the NCAA if, in fact, this antitrust lawsuit goes to court in 2025. What do you think is going on in college football right now? And as a fan, will it feel any different in 2024 and 2025?
Listen, I think we're in that, whenever you're in the off season, okay, when we're in the spring and the summer, it is just an absolute, and again, I apologize for my language here, but it's an absolute bitch fest, okay? No one's happy, all right? And I think, sadly, the coaches don't like what's going on. They have a bully pulpit to say it, all right? And so they say it, and the writers pick up on it. And then when you have, and we've had this in the last few years, as you know, commissioners of different conferences at odds with one another, and they didn't mind saying so. So the writers loved it. The people that are creating the narratives from which all the radio talk shows and all of the podcasts are discussing, because there is no game for us to call. It all sounds so bad, so negative, in some cases so tawdry and dirty, at times. It really does. And so fans, they're all negative too. Well, why wouldn't they be? Apparently we are. Everybody in my business is saying nothing good. It's all bad. And then when we get to late August, right, and we've seen the preseason magazines, and it's week 0, and this year week 1 is going to come around the 28th or 29th of August, so we won't even be into September yet. When toe meets leather, all is well with the world.
Yep.
Okay, whether it's the cream and crimson or the crimson and white or the purple and gold, or you name the colors, we're there to cheer on our teams. And college football is garnering more eyeballs than it ever has. It's making more money than it ever dreamed of making. And in fact, part of the problem and why we're having all these discussions is because what? With all that money that's being made, it's never enough. I'm always reminded of Dino Cook when he said, "It's never enough."
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where a spin could turn dreams into reality. Meet Sammy F., who just won over $70,000. And Orlando P., hitting the jackpot with a whopping $100,000. Feel the thrill of winning and join the Dance of Champions.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Your chance to be the next big winner is here at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Paul Finebaum joins us here on the starting lineup. Paul, how you doing, brother? What's going on, man?
Well, there's always issues, and there have never been more issues. Having said that, I think college football is in a great place. I know the administrators and the commissioners all are begging for somebody to bail them out, but I thought the last season was phenomenal. I went to sold-out stadiums every Saturday, and the ratings, which mean people are watching, are record. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's undervalued, Tony.
And I think they see the value in that. The fact that we don't even have a 12-team playoff yet, and they're already talking about expanding it to 14. You like the idea?
I would have liked to see how the 12 worked, but there's more money in 14. Listen, I work at the company that bought it, so there's a cliche that you can't have too much football, and I think that's correct. I mean, why does the NFL work? Because every weekend, whether it's Buffalo or Atlanta or Nashville or Chicago, it's a big event. It's the same thing in Alabama. Auburn only has X number of home games a year. Same for Alabama. And every time you go, whether it's the Georgia-Alabama game or Western Carolina, people are excited. Bars are busy. Restaurants can't get enough. And the most important thing, Tony, I'll say this quietly, people are betting on the games.
Oh, shocking. That's never gone on before. Paul, it's great to have you on. Really appreciate you making time for us. I wanted to get your thoughts. You were just talking about looking for bailouts from government and, whatever organization can step up. But one organization that has not stepped up, in fact, they've got a pretty impressive losing streak going on, is a favorite subject of mine, and I know you have been very outspoken on our favorite organization, the NCAA.
They still control the academic, the eligibility. They don't enforce it anymore. Eventually, they're going to be put out of business. Let me let you in on a little secret that everybody already knows. College football is shrinking. It's not getting bigger. I interviewed the Vanderbilt coach yesterday, and I almost felt sorry for him. I mean, he's only lost 10 straight games, and he's telling me about how good the program is.
Yep.
It's not good. So ultimately, you're going to have the Big Ten and the SEC in charge of everything. The ACC is on life support. The Big 12 is okay, but it's not that compelling. And the NCAA really won't have anything to do with any of this.
It did not take long for Nick Saban to make it to Washington, D.C. up in Capitol Hill a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was the most senators and House members to ever show up for a meeting. They wanted to see the coach, the winningest coach and the greatest college football coach we've ever known. What does Nick Saban do from here on out?
Well, I think he ought to be careful. Easy for me to tell him what to do, but I think once you get into the swamp, which is Washington, D.C.,
Yes.
you can't help but walking away without smudge on your face. And Tony, I mean, he took a beating in certain circles, which is unusual for him. The one thing about Nick Saban in the past, he could say something controversial. Saturday, his team would knock your teeth out and win, and everybody moved on. They didn't care. But the problem now is he's in a different venue. He also is sounding his age. Now, he's 4 years older than me. I don't want to act like I'm in high school. But the problem is, when Saban came off, I thought, a little bit like get off your lawn. He may be 100% right. In many ways, he is right. He understands what's going on. But when he criticizes the players that he was coaching 2 months ago, I think it's a bad look.
Yeah. You never know who's going to appear on the starting lineup. So we'd like to flip the tables just a little bit, because we have a guy here that is on your show almost every single day. The legend is in the house right here in the starting lineup. Wanted to talk to his old friend Paul.
Paul, what an honor to talk to you from different ends of the spectrum, brother. This is a historical, legendary moment, brother. Appreciate you being on the show with us.
Well, let me say something here before we get too far away. I can't tell you, legend, how proud I am of you having a role on this TV show in Birmingham. I know you did radio as well with Kip. And that just gives me pride, because you are the best caller. Please don't tell page 54, but you are the best caller on the Finebaum show.
Where can I bet on the brackets?
There's a guy in Tuscaloosa that just got a switchblade out to his wrist when I said that. But it's the truth. I mean, I could go anywhere in this country and I'll have somebody grab me and everything. Hey, man, I love that legend, because you're real, legend. You're authentic. You've lived it, you understand it, and you wear it on your sleeve, and that's what fandom is all about.
But hey, Paul, let's go one-on-one for about 2 minutes, if you don't mind. Let's go one-on-one here.
Hey, by the way, legend, before you go too far, hold on a second.
Okay.
You came up with the best line I've ever heard on the Finebaum show. You talked about when you first started calling in, you were dating 2s and 3s, and now you're dating 10s. That got my attention.
But here we go, in the ring, rapid fire, Finebaum and the legend in a historical entertainment moment. Paul, pick a caller. If you had to pick one caller today that came from Mars and that is an alien, pick a caller, Paul. Who would it be?
I mean, I can't do that, because these people that we call aliens, they allow me to buy groceries every Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll name a few for you, Paul. John from Missouri, Jim from Texas.
Okay, I agree with him. I agree.
Let me ask you
John from St. Louis.
Let me ask you another question then. If you had to name one caller to be president for a day, who would it be?
It wouldn't be I-Man, I can tell you that.
Be marijuana everywhere in the White House.
I like the fact that I think you should be president.
I agree.
I second that. We need in the White House is somebody to take charge. And by the way, if you don't like it, throw the guy. I mean, I could see like the prime minister of whatever country sitting there with you, and you guys get into an argument. You call the Secret Service and you toss the guy out the window. That's one of my favorite lines of all time that came from Charles Barkley. I was with him one night. And it was about 30 years ago, guys, if you remember. He got into a fight in Milwaukee, and he tossed some guy out of a bar. And the judge said, Mr. Barkley, before I rule on this case, I want to ask you a question. Do you have any regrets? And he said, yes, Your Honor, I do. And he said, what is that? He said, I'm sorry. I threw the guy out the door. I'm sorry the bar wasn't on the 3rd floor. And that's you. I mean, you can be Charles Barkley with the right people around you in this medium.
Each year, significant funding from entertainment dollars generated at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino and distributed by the Birmingham Racing Commission provides significant revenue to some of our community's most vital resources. And one of those exemplary institutions is Historic Miles College, a true foundational pillar of academic opportunities and excellence, recognized as among America's most outstanding HBCU institutions. Miles College, an annual statutory recipient of funding from the Racing Commission, utilizes those proceeds to assist in providing invaluable education and resources in a variety of fields of study. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, paying off for Alabama.
I mentioned Kai Gregory a lot on this show because he runs a Southern Precision Staffing. He's been a good friend of mine for over 30 years, and he does a lot of business with Tony Curry Radio and with the starting lineup. He's one of our great sponsors. He's come on the show. We mentioned last year. People were like, when is he coming back on? We're going to wait. We're going to hold off till football season. You can go back and watch it, folks. Everything's documented here because it's all out there on the YouTube channel, on the starting lineup YouTube channel. He went 9-0. Then he went 4-3 the following week, so he went 13-2. Or 13-3. The guy's been unbelievable on his plays. He will be part of this. We're starting a brand new podcast with him, a gambling podcast, where you'll be getting free plays every single week. You don't have to pay for anything. All you got to do is listen to the show. We'll give you plays. We at one point went 22-3. Kip and I, we were on fire this past year. It's all documented. It's all real. Check out Southern Precision Staffing for all your staffing needs. 205-682-2828. 205-682-2828, where your word and your handshake still means something, right here in Hoover, Alabama, serving the United States of America just like TKR. James Spann joins us right now. James, good morning to you.
Better than Saturday morning cartoons is this show. This is what you want to watch.
Some people have compared us to a cartoon.
I don't know about that. Greatly appreciate your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Honored to be here.
I want to go back. So I just turned 58, and I've always watched news growing up, and of course I've been
I have
doing
underwear older than this guy. You're a kid.
Believe it or not, I do too. So I remember watching weather, and weather just wasn't a sexy thing. It was the highs, the lows. Was it going to be sunny? Did I need my umbrella? And then there was this guy named Ira Joe Fisher, who worked at a radio station and a television station up in Westchester, Ohio, or Cincinnati, the Cincinnati market. And he was one of these guys that got up there and he could draw backwards.
Oh,
and so he did. Do you know who Ira Joe Fisher is?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, and I think he went to work for network stuff. Anyway, my question is weather's gotten so cool. It's gotten so. I mean, the technology. The Dopplers, the Paragons, the verbiage, the things you do, and it's just gotten so cool that now, I mean, obviously, if you're watching a newscast, it takes up more time than anything else, as it probably should, and you should as well, because you're the best of the best of the best. But how have you transgressed through how the weather has changed, say, over the last 10 or 15 years with all the technology we've got?
Well, I started doing this in 1978, and I drew on a map. I didn't do backwards, but I had a magic marker. We had to clean off the plexiglass when I was through.
Yeah.
And we got the computer graphics in the 1980s. And I think what's changed is that, number one, weather is of universal appeal. It affects you and everybody watching. And so it's universal, it's not political, it's not polarizing, and weather can kill people. And that's what people have to remember, that sometimes it turns violent. And so when I started in 1978, warnings were primitive. If a tornado was coming, we might know, we might not know. Today, there's an excellent chance we know, and there's an excellent chance we can give people 15, 20 minutes to get to a safe place. And that is a tangible way that you can help to save somebody's life. And that's changed everything. And of course, the other thing is the fact that now it's not just television, it's your phone.
Yeah.
People are on social media, and we provide information over there, and the boundaries have gone away. Used to be in a television market, you'd be in one market and you'd be confined to that market, where now there are no more boundaries. So I think between the technology, the fact that we are part of a life-saving process, and social media, weather's gotten kind of sexy.
Well, and I think
I'm not sexy, but the subject has gotten sexy. I'm just some old creeper guy.
No, you're sexy. You're sexy. You're good. No, it's amazing because whenever you talk about hurricanes, they may say, well, it's a smaller hurricane or a small size tornado. Just ask the person that hits how big that tornado or that hurricane is. If you're the one that hits, it's the worst thing you could ever imagine. And when you're talking about how we are affected by weather, and I remember 1974, the Tri-State breakout. I was in Cincinnati, Ohio. We didn't have sirens. I remember as a family coming out and standing in the middle of the street along with 3 or 4 of our neighbors and talking for about 15 or 20 minutes until it got nasty again. Then we just went back inside, went to our basement. That's how we knew whether the weather was going to be really bad. But it's just changed so much, and it's gotten so much better over the years.
This is the 50th anniversary of that outbreak, April 3rd, 1974. I was a senior in high school, which means my 50th reunion is coming up, but that changed my life.
It changed mine too.
At the time, we didn't have cell phones, of course, and I had a ham radio license, and they gave me 3 days off to go volunteer to serve as a communicator. Alabama was ravaged that night. and I went to Jasper, Alabama, hit hard. I was in the emergency department of the People's Hospital, which was the hospital. And I saw things I probably shouldn't see as a 17-year-old child, but I think I needed to see that to do what I do for a living today. We went to Ewan, Alabama, wiped out. Xenia, Ohio, you know that story.
Big time.
Ewan, Alabama had the same situation, F5. I thought the world was ending. I love storms. I wanted them, and that let me know that there's more to it than just the fun of it. And we wound up in Huntsville that was hit hard, and that changed my life. And you're right, warnings were primitive back in 1974, but now we can tell you if it's near Jim's Pit Barbecue or the Walmart in Prattville or wherever, and people can relate to that. And we've integrated social science into physical science. One of our big problems, my first major in college was electrical engineering.
Huh.
I don't know anything about TV or broadcasting or being on your show. And then I changed to meteorology and finished in meteorology. But we don't know anything about social science, human behavior. We're asking people to do things. So since 2011, our big April 27th event, where 252 people died in one day on my watch, which is inexcusable, we've learned that we don't know anything about social science. So these brilliant social scientists have helped us, and we've integrated their knowledge with physical science with this interdisciplinary approach. And I think we're so much better now than we were in 2011 and times before that.
Wow, and that's fairly recent.
Right, and that's why we say all of these things I do and say. There's a reason for that. Respect the polygon. People didn't understand how warnings were issued. They thought it was issued by counties back then. We use polygons, and we've changed that. We've learned that people cannot find their house on a map. And what do we show during tornado outbreaks? Maps. And again, I'm not faulting the people. It's the fact that they're used to their phones. They get turn-by-turn directions. People don't need map skills, and we have to be better at that. Another big challenge, people live in manufactured housing, mobile homes. Away from municipalities, about 70% of Alabamians live in trailers.
Wow.
Wonderful affordable housing, but you can't stay there during a tornado warning, and we have to do better for them because such a high percentage of people lose their lives in trailers. All these things we've learned, and we're getting better at it, but we've got a long, long way to go, which is why I'm just getting started. We got a lot of work to do.
I love it.
Could you have ever imagined that you would become the dominant media figure in the entire state?
I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. I'm just some guy that loves weather, has a passion for weather, and I was looking at it the other day. This is terrifying. I did a look at all the different platforms on the social media side. I did a follower count because I was doing a talk in Nashville, and I wanted to just kind of show them the power behind that. It's at 2.7 million. Who are these people? I mean, where do they come from? And it's like, but I'm honored that they chose me. There's a lot of meteorologists in the world, and I think part of it is the fact that I'm always there for them. I've not slept since 1973 when I was in high school. Really. And you have to be there. And if they send me a photograph or a video, I'll thank them for that. Thumbs up, thank you, that's great. They chose me. And so many people, they just don't engage with the audience, and they want to work 8 hours a day. There's no 8-hour-a-day thing in this new world. You have to be there for the people when they need you, and I think that's what's attracted people to me. I'm not good at anything I do. I'm not. Remember Snowmageddon? but I will work harder than anybody else. Anybody else to accomplish a task, and part of that came from my childhood. My father abandoned me and my mom when I was 7. And I had to go to work, and so I'm not good, but I work hard, and I think that's got a lot to do with it.
I've got to ask you, because we do college football predominantly, this time of year we kind of just go in different directions, but there's a great college football angle to your career, which was just starting out, the 1983 Iron Bowl. I just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts.
Goodness.
We had a tornado warning. There was absolute evidence that Legion Field was about to get wiped out. Nobody moved. The game didn't stop.
This is insanity.
I mean, look back on that era and talk about what would have happened today if that'd been the case.
What you need to do is go back and watch that on YouTube, and you'll hear Keith Jackson talk about the storm, and they didn't stop the game. Lightning was popping everywhere. There was a rotating
fans didn't
wall
go
cloud.
anywhere.
No, Bo Jackson was playing for Auburn. Rotating wall cloud, tornado warning. I was on channel 13. Nobody was watching me because the game was on channel 6. And a tornado did drop out of that storm in Oxford, killing people in Oxford.
Wiped out a Winn-Dixie.
Right, the old Sky City. And if that would have hit Legion Field in West Birmingham, it could have killed thousands of people. And I talked with Walter Garrett, who ran Legion Field back then, and Simpson Pepper, the announcer. They didn't know anything. Nobody told them anything. They really didn't know. I think ultimately they got some word, but that's a sign of how far we've come. And now people get mad when we stop the game because of lightning. You know, the rule is 8 miles, but listen, lightning's terrible. I'm afraid of one thing, and it's lightning. So the SEC, to me, they've gone from worst to first.
The one thing we try to do around here on the starting lineup is we want to have a show where when you tune in, you're not quite knowing what you're going to get.
That's right.
Sometimes
The Forrest Gump syndrome.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even know what we're going to get. No, we know exactly what's going to go on. There's controlled chaos here. So we do like to get special guests. If you've got a guest, go to my personal email, info@TonyCurryRadio.net, info@TonyCurryRadio.net, and tell us who you'd like to see on the show, and we'll go out and reach out for them. We'll get the mayor on for you. We'll try to get the president on for you. We get NASCAR drivers on. We get rock and rollers on. We get coaches on. We're going to get it all on. We all want to be out there, and you never know who's going to be stopping by the big show. We do have college football coming up here. It cannot get here soon. I will say this. Usually summers fly by. Since we've been doing this show, it seems like it's creeping along because I want it so badly to start already. Clemson, Georgia, the first game we're going to be buttoned up against. It's going to be unbelievable.
Well, you know, to me, Tony, it's kind of a funny thing. Being 4th of July weekend, this is like the last embarkation or the embarkation of transitioning from summer to football season because next week when we come to you, it'll be July 11th. The first game kicks off August the 24th. That's not very long down the road, so I think we can go ahead and start to shift into football season mode, and we got great plans for you in terms of being the place. If game day is off in Butte, Montana or something for the Montana State Grizzlies against the whoever's, we're going to talk SEC football here. We're going to talk about Alabama and Auburn and Georgia and LSU and Ole Miss and Texas and Oklahoma. That's kind of cool to say. They're SEC teams.
It really
now.
is, and you better start doing your homework, partner, because there's a lot of teams that have the tectonic plates of college football have been shaking and baking, and they ain't moving right now. It's been amazing what's happened over the last, say, 4 or 5 months when you talk about not only the realignment, of course, of these conferences, but also, of course, of the NIL, the transfer portals, and, of course, the settlement between the NCAA and, of course, the court systems and everything else, the antitrust laws. I mean, it's going to be an amazing year, and it's going to probably take a couple of weeks just to kind of get melded in back into, okay, this is college football. It's going to look the same, the rules are the same, but it's going to have a totally different feel from the top to the bottom.
Well, I've got a hot take for you to kind of whet your appetite for football. The Phil Steele, who's the famous magazine editor who's come out with every year for about 25 years, the Bible of people preparing for the season. Phil Steele was on yesterday with Paul Finebaum, and he predicted Georgia #1 preseason and Texas #3. I got a hot take for you, Tony. I've looked at both of their schedules. I think Georgia and Texas are both going to lose at least 2 games.
Wow.
I do not think there'll be a single team in the SEC that goes undefeated. And in the league play, I think one loss is going to be the champion. So, I mean, and it's all because of the schedule. It's not because I don't like those teams or their talent. It's the fact that Georgia plays at Texas, so one of them's going to lose a game in that game.
Yep.
But Georgia also plays here in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. They play at Ole Miss. They've got, of course, Florida and Tennessee. Texas plays Oklahoma.
I'm telling you, don't look past Clemson. Dabo Swinney's coming off that 4-loss year.
I'm telling you.
I
I think Georgia better come to play because Dabo's got the biggest chip on his shoulder of all time right now.
Huge. And I know a lot of people are going, it ain't going to happen. I'm telling you, Clemson will be playing tough. Their stock was rising. A lot of people bought in. It's going to be a tough way. You went from one of the easiest schedules that Georgia's ever had to one of the most difficult schedules.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
For sure. Until next week, have yourself a wonderful weekend. This is the starting lineup.
Happy